Hello, my name is Mark Davis Pickup. In today's video, I want to interview my grandson, Carson Pound, about program ideas that he's developed regarding his role on Heartland, the TV series. During the COVID time period, we were talking a lot about scripts. I wrote one, and Carson developed a story idea for a character in that hit show. Carson, why don't you tell us about your idea?
Yeah. So, well, to explain the project, I feel like I need to go back to my character. Right. So, Stephen was my first ever big role that I got an opportunity to actually act. I had a few little here and there commercials, and it was a lot of voice acting. That was a big strong suit of mine, and it definitely showed in my work, and I later expanded on that when I was in college. But my biggest role even up until now has always been my stint on Heartland, and I was later made aware that I may have been kind of held back a little bit during that time because I was young, and my I think I was on the show from about 13 to 16, somewhere in the ballpark. During that time, you're going through a lot. That's the puberty time. That's, a lot of growth is going on, and on top of that, I'm on film. And on one hand, they're dealing with a child actor, but also a growing actor who has a story that they're wanting to tell throughout their program. And so they can't exactly make me do anything. They have to ask for permission. And so they would ask my mom, hey, is it okay if he dances with this character? Slow dances. And then my mom would say, oh, okay, yeah, no problem. Or in the case of, hey, is it cool if him and his co-star have their first ever kiss on film? My mom said no. And I think part of that had something to do with them writing my character out. But anyway, I wasn't made aware of this until long after I was done. And
well, your mom just didn't want you to have your first kiss on camera.
Oh, for sure. And I don't blame her.
Understand that. Yeah,
absolutely. I wish I'd known a little sooner. I may have had other opinions, but it just is what it is. And looking back, I get it. I totally get it. But I had always felt that I needed to finish off the character. I feel like he didn't really get the ending that I wanted him to, and it was something that I didn't really know what I wanted to do with, but I knew I wanted to write something for him. And when I was in college, they had a class called Actorpreneur, and basically it was them encouraging actors to write their own work and explaining to us how to pitch it to people and how to network, pretty much. And anyway, I hated that class partly because the teacher told me any of my stories were they were all not worth telling, because either they were based off of revenge stories or redemption stories, and he didn't think that was a strong enough narrative, which I entirely disagree with.
I disagree with him too.
Yeah, and so did the rest of my class. They did not understand what he was getting at. He was also mad that I couldn't explain it in about 2 minutes. It was about 5 minutes that it took me to explain.
I think it might have had something to do with redemption.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah, I didn't like the guy. But, yeah, so anyway, I come out of film school, and I'm still hungry. I want to create, and so I get in touch with a few friends back in Airdrie, and they're going to the film school in St. and they're directing and writing and all the stuff that I'm not.
Now St. stands for Southern Alberta Institute of Technology.
Yes. Yeah, and they have a small film program there, and
just so that people know that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so anyway, I got in touch with them, and I was helping them with their projects, and they were still in school, so it was a lot of the time, they would just pay for my lunch kind of thing, and I would just, as long as you're not going to publish it anywhere else, I don't think ACTRA will get mad. ACTRA's the union in Canada. Down in the state, it's SAG. Up here, it's ACTRA. And so anyway, I start talking to my two buddies, and I just explained to them, I'm like, look, I feel like I should give Steven his like final like love letter, I guess. And so I came up with this little story of what happened to Steven after, because at the end of his last season, he moves back to Manitoba to live with his family, and we are led to believe that his family's gonna patch up their relationship. I felt like it would be more interesting if that didn't happen, and I could tell a more not necessarily gruesome story, but a darker story to what happened after he moves back. And I had this whole thing planned out. Now, keep in mind, I was not strong in my faith yet. I was still just focused on creating and escapism. But I wanted to write really a love letter to Steven. I felt like the best way I could do this was give him a darker story. Yep. Take away from the Heartland kind of, la-di-da, the world's going to be fine at the end of it. Because technically Heartland's a soap opera. And I wanted to lean more into the, more of an Outer Banks kind of tone. Not quite Yellowstone, but, not quite Heartland either. Like, telling a dark story, but relatable to more of an audience. Taking more of an HBO approach. And so I made this little promo video.
It was really to solidify in your head the concept, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And so I had this vision in my head. I didn't necessarily have a script, but I knew that Steven leaves his family, and with him leaving his family, he's trying to find where he belongs in the world, and that's really where it started. And so I was like, let's just try to film from there. And so me and my one friend, one out of the two, because the other one kind of just dropped out of it, we took a day off work and just went out to the country and just filmed this on a road. And I had this beat up Ranger at the time. It has since crapped the bed and it's no longer with us, but yes, and yeah. So I'm sorry. And so anyway, it was a short little thing, but it told a story without needing many words.
Okay, and we're going to look at that video right now. See.
I know you've been stealing from me. Because let's face it, if not for my money, there's no way in hell you'd ever pay for the expenses. And that damn horse would still be breathing.
The only reason this horse is still alive is because of me. Fox is the only good thing left in this place. Mum's gone. And ever since, you've done nothing but blame me for every little mistake. As if her death was because of me. As if I put the bottle in your hands. As if I put the key in your car and told you to leave, like you always did. That's why we left it in the first place. You should have never come back. Whatever my mother saw in you, it died with her.
You want your mouth, boy. You think you're man enough to make your own decisions? Do it then. Leave. Because if you don't, I will kick you out myself for what you said. And we both know you won't last a week on your own.
Goodbye, Dad.
Where are you gonna go?
Okay. Okay. Back to Hudson.
And see what it. See what. We start again.
Yeah.
Well, that was filmed just outside of Calgary, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it was actually right behind, if you know the area, it's right behind the Cross Iron Mills kind of industrial area. About 20 minutes towards, what would that be? Not Drayton, or not Didsbury, but anyway, out east, past Cross Iron. And now, shortly after that, those friends kind of went their own directions. One of them stopped doing film entirely and is now working for his family business. And the other one he's still doing somewhat film stuff.
Yeah.
He was working for the Saddle Dome for a while, recording the hockey games.
Okay.
Really cool stuff, but we just kind of drifted apart. And I've just focused on my trades. And now that I'm very strong in my faith, I am now looking back at the industry.
Yeah.
And as I said in one of the previous videos, the only way I'd come back to acting is if I'm working with a Christian company or on a Christian production.
So you said it's going to be dark stories. How would that relate to a Christian theme?
Now, yeah. So at the time when I wrote it, I didn't really have the intention of making it necessarily a Christian story. Mm-hmm. He would find his place in the end. He would find his own tribe and new people in his life that would guide him down the right direction. But I would want to take a different approach to it now. It would be pushed with a Christian narrative in ways that we wouldn't expect.
Okay. He
would be coming in out the gate. He would be engulfed with either sin,
right,
some kind of addiction, probably smoking. Finding connections with people who have a faith.
Yep.
Maybe being a little hesitant towards them at first, but gradually as things either get worse or he grows, those relationships become the most important. And maybe the direction that he intentionally wanted to go would have been the wrong choice.
Okay.
And maybe he takes it at the beginning and then diverts.
So it's a Christian redemption story.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You told me it's kind of a humorous story. It's in the scene where you're looking at it in the truck at the motor and you realize that you can't fix it. You turned around and I thought you were punching in the air. You actually threw the keys, and then the next 45 minutes you were in the field trying to find the keys. Yeah. Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, that was improv. So I actually lost my keys, but luckily I found them. But
if there's someone that's interested in taking this project up, should they contact me? Or
yeah,
okay,
either contact you, or if they can find my number, contact me, because I'm very bad at answering my emails. Like I said, I work a trade, so most of the time I'm just focused on my in the moment work. And I don't really look at my emails. So
you gave it a working title of Stephen's Redemption.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Now, I should preface though, I had intended to go to Heartland originally because it was their character. I was gonna make it Stephen, but I got in contact with an old director that I had or producer that I used to work with from Heartland, and he was like, "Look, there's a good chance that they may say no to this, and if they do, I still think it's worth pushing this project. So don't necessarily be married to the idea of it being Stephen, because that requires CBC to work with you."
Okay, could you change the name?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And so the Stephen's Redemption is it's like working title, just so I can find it in my drive.
So it could be like Bernard's Redemption.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It could be.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, but I really like the idea of the coming through the fire, so to speak, meeting Christ, and that changes your whole life. Because it's true, that's exactly what happens to each of us who comes to Christ, is it changes our life completely.
Mhm.
Well, there we are. If you are interested in this film, contact me at humanlifematters@shaw.ca, or do you have your phone handy?
Yeah, I'll just give my email. You can try. Yeah, he'd be better to reach, but yeah, you can contact me at carsonpound100@gmail.com.
Here we are. We're done. God bless.
Double click.